spare me, dude. They become apoplectic. Barack Obama during the Trayvon Martin BLM riots, during the Michael Brown riots, we had the National Guard deployed. They didn't bat an eye. They said, oh, yeah, well, I guess they're deploying the National Guard. Nobody cried about this. I was on the streets in Ferguson talking to National Guardsmen as they were deployed to deal with the unrest. Why now are they pretending like they're so outraged?
Well, it reminds me of when all of a sudden SEAL Team 6 was Dick Cheney's personal assassination squad. Then all of a sudden when SEAL Team 6 goes in and takes out Osama bin Laden because Barack Obama's president, they're the best thing since sliced bread. And, of course, we saw all the movies that are made. It's always the rules for thee, but not for me. And so what is the purpose of the National Guard? That's the purpose of what the National Guard is supposed to do. And anytime you're going to deploy, and anytime you have flashpoints, anytime you have criminal illegal immigrants, anytime you have a Trinidad or some of these other terrorist organizations operating within the country, there's nothing wrong with having a quick reaction force. Being a commander in Iraq, if we put people out on a mission, on a patrol, whatever, guess what we had? A quick reaction force in case they got into any type of troubling situation. They could pick up and call. You could push those resources down there. Wouldn't it have been great to have a quick reaction force out in Portland when they were, shooting at the cops out there, when they were setting firebombing federal buildings and things of this nature? So the left, once again, this is the Marxist mindset, is that we want the ability to go out and create fear, intimidation, coercion, and conduct and enact violence, and we don't want to be challenged.
Yeah, I mean, look, the left has made it pretty clear in the past decade that it's not what the policy is, it's who's instituting the policy. So if it's Barack Obama or Joe Biden doing something, whatever the policy may be, the left will be for it. If it's Donald Trump, the left will be against it. And I assume that after Donald Trump, if there's a Republican president, it'll be the same thing. The Republicans decide they want to do something, the left is all against it. If it's a Democrat that wants to do something, left is all for it.
I think this is a smart idea because, to be frank, most police departments around the country are underfunded and underprepared for riot-type situations. Most of these police departments aren't set up in a way where they are prepared to address, hundreds of people who are protesting and rioting and also dealing with the crime that's there, say for maybe the NYP and LAPD. In New York City, they have a specific department called the SRG. It's the Strategic Response Group that are especially there, and they are on call to be able to react within an hour to any riot-type situation in the city. That happens relatively often, and they're very effective at doing that, but that's because the NYPD has the funding to do that. It's night and day seeing these riots happen in New York City versus out of New York City and out of LA. I think this could prevent a lot of violence and damage happening around here, but it's something we need to consider because I think a lot of police departments haven't really been up to full strength ever since the defund the police movement.
No, absolutely, and we see that down in Dallas where I am, and you look at the crime has spiked in the capital of Texas, in Austin. So yes, there's nothing wrong with having this flex force. But isn't it interesting that the guy running to be the next mayor of New York City has said he wants to get rid of that SRG? He didn't bump his gums too much after they just had that shooting up there.
Well, I mean, he also says he wants to tax white people, and he also says that he's going to defy federal authority and the will of the American voter by protecting non-citizens in his jurisdiction. So, at this point, we were briefly talking about this as we're getting ready for the show, doing pre-production and stuff. Democrats are not going to stop.
No.
They're screaming the end is nigh. They're screaming Trump is fascist, and literally no matter what he does, he's Hitler. I'm at the point where I just don't care anymore, right? In 2020, we had the worst riots in 50 years, billions of dollars in damages, and they said, who cares, insurance will pay for it, which is not true.
No.
And, I see a funny post where it was actually really funny. A friend of mine posted this. A liberal was saying, I don't want to give SNAP benefits to people who are going to buy sugary drinks and soda. And the liberals are arguing that we should give poor people sugary drinks and soda. Now I'm like, it's bizarro world. There's clearly no logic behind any of their activism. You want poor people to be sickly and malnourished? Let's give them protein bars, not soda.
Well, and that comes back to think about how COVID was racist because for whatever reason, more black people were dying. Well, if you have certain comorbidities, such as the high blood pressure, the heart disease, the diabetes, all of these things that, oh, by the way, when you're not, drinking all these sugary drinks and all these bad foods that they have flooded into the communities, and now you can use the EBT card, it's not even called food stamp anymore, to get this, they really don't care. But they are are very good at going out and, as we talked about, projecting who they are on someone else. I don't call them Democrats anymore. They're Marxists, they're leftists, and what they want to do is create the chaos and confusion. They support lawlessness, and when you stand up against them when it comes to lawlessness, and coming back to what you're saying, anytime that you do something that opposes them, you're a threat to democracy.
You guys know. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.